What's going on, everybody? You're listening to Thin Ice on BlazeRadioOnline.com. My name is Krikorian, and I'm joined by
Sebastian Quinn.
And Baden Delaney.
Thin Ice is the show where we talk about everything hockey, NHL, college hockey, street hockey if you're playing down the street, junior league, youth league, anything hockey, we got it covered. So first off, let's kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. We're going to look at some of the NHL storylines coming out of last week and coming into this week. Baden, what do you have for us?
Um, just yesterday, Rupin signed an 8-year, around $70 million contract with Dallas. We're gonna keep the line going with Pavelski and Robertson. He's had a really solid year, 24 points. So we'll see how those 8 years go, but they seem to want to lock him down.
Yeah, I mean he's been off the charts when it came to assisting his teammates. He's really worked well in that line, and it's been pretty solid for the Stars. Obviously, it's working, so why not mark him up, ink him up for the next few years? By few, I mean 8, and see if that production can continue.
Of course, yeah. The Stars have been doing pretty well this year, actually. I wouldn't say they're the most surprising team, but I am like, oh wow, like Stars are doing really well. Like I'm enjoying to see that production coming out of that team. And yeah, there's lots more to talk about though.
Kachuk is coming back to Calgary, and probably the biggest offseason trade, 104 points last year, and coming back to Calgary. Scored last time out playing Calgary, but I'm really curious to see how the fans kind of take him in after he started the first 6 years of his career there. So
Yeah, I mean we've seen it with a lot of other players throughout the league, going back to their home crowds and getting greeted with either cheers or sadly boos. I do think the Canadian fans are always a great atmosphere, though, and I think he's going to get a big warm welcome back to Calgary because even though he wanted out, it was a pretty smooth departure, I would say.
yeah, I think he paid his dues there. He played really well from the moment he got there, and I mean we saw Jack Eichel went back to Buffalo a little bit ago, and he had a pretty entertaining return. So I wonder if there's going to be any bad blood there in Calgary, but I doubt it, honestly.
Let's hopefully the border does some justice for the
Yeah.
kindness department.
Right. And how about the Devils? They're on a road win streak of 10 games.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It's the second longest streak, only behind the 2005-2006 Red Wings and the 2014-2015 Wild, who both sat at 12. And now you have this new young New Jersey Devils team that honestly I don't know anybody thought they'd be this good. On the 10-game road streak, it's just ridiculous. And as a New York fan, it just pains me to watch them be this good while the Rangers are just horrible.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
say the Rangers are horrible. They're mediocre at best, I'd say. I mean, it's only the first quarter of the season, so I'm sure we'll see some improvement, but New Jersey's great. I mean, according to the NHL, the standings here, I'm just looking at it. They're above Boston, and
Yep.
Boston's on fire. They've won how many games in a row at home, though? I think it
Oh,
was like 8 in a row,
yeah,
10
too
in a row or
many.
something. And I don't know. It's only a matter of time, though. I would hate to see New Jersey, have such a great streak and such a great start to the season just for them to crash and burn when it comes to March and April.
yeah. I wonder how the age factor is going to play a role because they're a very young team. So it's pretty remarkable to see them get off to the start. It's rare for any team, especially a team that coming into the year. I mean, I knew it would be an improved team, but not 19-4 leading the Metropolitan Division.
Yeah,
So I
people looked at
mean,
them bringing in guys like Palat and was like, is this really going to push them over the top? And I mean, it seemed to work. And I just like what you brought up with the youth. Like we don't usually see young teams get off to this hot of a start, but then they're kind of riding off of that. And
especially in hockey, especially in
exactly
hockey.
Yeah,
the
like
real
look at the
question is
Ducks.
just can they be consistent? Like,
Yeah,
can they be consistent?
like look at the Ducks. I mean, yeah, New Jersey's a young team, but look at the Ducks. They've won 6 games.
And they're a young
Yeah,
team. Complete
very young
opposite.
team. They have potential, maybe. I mean, Trevor
Yeah.
Zegras is pretty good. That's all I have to say about the Ducks.
I
Yeah,
mean, when you're the Devils and you're 8 points ahead of the Islanders who are putting together a great year, you're doing something right. Because even the Bruins are only 3 points ahead of the Maple Leafs. So what the Devils are doing is it's pretty crazy to watch, and it's
Mhm.
hopefully it keeps playing out. I mean, they're young, so it's a long season. It's hard to play this well for the entirety of a season, but if they can keep doing it, then props to them.
I agree.
So, and I'm from now just to little background. I'm from Southern California, so let's just get our biases out of the way. I'm an LA Kings fan. I do watch the Ducks though because of how Bally Sports West work, but I will be watching the LA Kings most of the time. Like they played tonight against the Kraken. We'll get into that in a minute. But Sebastian's a Rangers fan and Baden is an Islanders fan. And Sebastian,
The
I'm sure
rivalry.
Sebastian definitely has a lot to say about the Rangers and how they have been nothing but mid all season long so
Ooh.
far.
Yeah, it's just comes down to defensive play. Our defensemen are just not producing goals. 3 of our 4 starters have accounted for 0. Um, I think the combined defenseman room has a total of 8 goals on the season, and 6 of those are from Adam Fox. So, as much as Igor is getting hated on right now, and I mean he's even hating on himself, there's not much blame you could do when there's just such poor play in front of you. And if the Rangers want to turn it around, we need to see the production that we got from Trouba, from Miller in the playoffs. That needs to carry over into the regular season right now, or else it's not going to be a very easy road to the postseason for the Rangers.
I mean, the Rangers have the talent, and they showed that last year. It's just a matter of
Putting it
finding their
together.
groove. Like,
Yeah,
if they get to the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team. No one's going to want to face them, and they made that clear last year. But it's
I
good
think
to see Shesterkin kind of take the blame, though.
Yeah, I think the biggest storyline that we might get throughout the season is if the Rangers end up making a move for Patrick Kane. We'll probably be looking at a return similar to like the Claude Giroux trade from last year, where you have a first, maybe a second, and a prospect. The Rangers, in their mind, that'd probably be Kako, but I mean, we could talk about that if it happens, which honestly, it probably will.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
as an Islanders fan in your division, I'm very happy with how you guys are playing. I think you guys should keep it up. I'm loving it. As the
I
Rangers
want to
hater.
kick it
As
How
a
over
are the
to
Rangers
Islanders doing
hater.
right now? I haven't even really been. They're doing all right.
Yeah,
Six.
second
now.
in the Metropolitan. I mean, Sorokin's playing out of his mind. 49 save shutout against McDavid and Draisaitl. So, opposite, contrary to the Rangers, the Islanders defensemen score a lot. Noah Dobson and Pulick, they've been scoring goals. So everyone's really playing well for the Islanders, and they're putting it all together. They're still chasing the Devils, though, as we mentioned.
Right. And then right behind the Islanders is the Kraken. The Kraken are real this year. They
For
are
real.
legit.
Very surprising, but it's nice to see.
It is nice to see. And tonight, they play the Kings, and that's the battle for number 2 in the Pacific West. And I don't know. It's just when the Kings are good, they're good. But when they're off, they're so off. And it's so like they can't play a full 60 minutes of hockey. Like
It's true.
if you're leading coming into the third, you're gonna win. If the Kings are down coming into the third, they're not winning. And
Same
especially
thing
like
with the Rangers.
with the inconsistency in between the pipes. I mean, how much Todd McClellan has said like, oh, we have full confidence in Cal Peterson, but Cal Peterson is making dumb mistakes against what was it, the Rangers?
Yeah.
And then just 2 nights ago, Quick gave one up in overtime against Ottawa. You joking me?
Yeah. It
So
seems like they're a win loss. They're just back and forth.
it is. And right now they're down. They're on a losing streak of 2. And tonight's big for them because of like the standings in the Pacific, but also they need to get out of a slump, and especially at home
Yep.
which is where the Kings are supposed to be thriving, especially at Staples. I mean, not Staples Center, crypto.com. That's a place where no one wants to come and play. And if you're getting scrapped by the Ottawa Senators in overtime, you're not a threat there anymore, So that's a big game for the Kings, and as well as the Kraken, because the Kraken have something to prove because they suck.
Exactly. So, like earlier, we did mention on Thin Ice that we cover everything hockey. So, I think I want to kick it over to Kyle. He's going to take us into a little bit of collegiate hockey.
Yes. So I will be a little biased towards ASU, not only because I go to ASU, but
As we all do.
because I go to ASU. We all go there. But, I was at the game Saturday where I was as a writer, and unfortunately they ran out of room in the press box. So, because normally, like when they played Colorado College and Alaska Anchorage, I got to sit in the press box just because like it's not like it wasn't filled up, but there was room for student media. But since it was, Minnesota coming to town and you have all the snowbirds coming into Arizona, well, I guess you guys are snowbirds too, huh?
Different kind.
Yeah. So you get all the snowbirds that are wanting to come in to watch this hockey game. So all the big media is going to come in and take spots in the press box. So I wasn't able to sit in like the nice press box and watch the game. So I had to sit like on the devil deck. It's like opposite side of the arena from the student section. So it was cool. I mean, I got to sit. It was funny sitting next to all the snowbirds, and they're talking about Minnesota. It was like I got the same attitude from them as I got from the North Dakota fans, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just the first night I was watching the live stream because I wasn't in town watching the live stream, and ASU played a lot better in the first game where they lost to Minnesota than they did when they beat Minnesota. And that's what Greg Powers said after the game. He was like, we lost. They couldn't manage the puck at all, even in their win against Minnesota, and especially on Minnesota's basically an NHL team. They have all 14 of their starters are NHL draft picks. So it's just the big thing with ASU is that they needed to control the puck, and they couldn't do that. They did come out with a win, but it's just, how many mistakes can ASU get away with in order for them to win? And, when they play at home, they're 6-2 at home. They don't lose at home. And I remember I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about, the different scenarios for teams to get into the tournament at the end of the year. ASU can make it into the tournament, and I've even would say like they can win it all. I think they have the talent.
They have a chance. I mean, if they play like they did,
I think they have the talent to win it. I mean, especially with Semptimphelter as their goaltender. I think he's the best goaltender in the league, by the way, but that's another discussion. But they have the talent to win. It's just they have the talent at least to get in,
and they proved that.
What's up?
I mean, they prove that. I mean, regardless of how you beat the number 2 team in the country, because no 6-5 overtime win is a well played game. That's sloppy hockey. But I mean, if you show that you can beat a team like Minnesota, and we'll see how they fare against Denver, but it's obvious they have the talent. It's just a matter of putting it all together come
right. And
time.
They beat Minnesota number 2, and then earlier in the season they beat number 6 North Dakota. And now North Dakota is just falling off the rails.
That derailed their whole season.
What's going on? But, just to finish it off, if ASU can't make the tournament this year, which I think, honestly, they will. I think I would put money on the fact that they will, only because the NCAA sees that there's growth for hockey here, especially in the desert. And if you have ASU has a winning Division I hockey team on campus, and then the Coyotes are playing here for the next 2 years. This all it's going to do is going to grow. So I would be surprised if they didn't get a bid to get into the tournament, only because it's just going to help. I think from a marketing standpoint, it's just going to grow. But ASU needs to win road games. They've won 2 road games total out of 6. And that's just what's going to hurt them. They got swept against Clarkson. They did beat North Dakota in Las Vegas, but it's technically it was a technically
neutral site.
But if I was there, it was just North Dakota. It was like I was walking around the strip that day. It was all North Dakota fans. It was like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, they got to win on the road. If they can win on the road, and if they can get one against Denver, I'm sure they'll make it to the tournament 100%. And then like I said, they have the talent to win it all.
Yeah, I think another thing is there was 2 points brought up, and I want to just touch on them both really briefly. One was ASU having the talent. I mean, we failed to mention that Josh Doan just hit after his 2-assist game on Saturday. He just hit over 50 career points, but in only 50 games played, which, I mean, as a collegiate hockey player, that's a big milestone.
Phenomenal.
And it's even bigger that it's for our school. And then the other thing I wanted to touch on is you mentioned hockey growth in Arizona. And I think you're right. The fact that we have a great hockey team on campus, and now we have a professional team on campus, this is just the targeted area for just ample growth. And I think the NCAA and NHL will take advantage of that to grow the sport in Arizona and out west in general.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think down here in the desert, we should get some recognition for hockey. It's always a sport for people from Minnesota and from up north. So if hockey can grow here, it'd be huge for the sport. It'd be huge for ASU. I don't think it really harms anyone if hockey becomes like a lifestyle down here. If there's good teams, if the Coyotes end up improving and ASU's good, then I think hockey's in a really good place, especially college hockey, if ASU can be a top tier team.
Yeah, and how easy is it to recruit here? I mean, you bring them down here, look at the nice arena, look at the weather. You don't have to be freezing when you're walking to class if you're living in Grand Forks or Minneapolis. I think that's where University of Minnesota is. I mean, it's just going to attract more transfers. I mean, Semptimphelter's from Northeastern. This is his first year here. And I think I have Master Simone. I think. Oh no, he's a freshman, sophomore. Someone I just know, like we're getting transfers at the end of the
Yeah,
day. Next 4 years at least, I see, top 10 team throughout the whole season.
that'd be. I mean, it would be great.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
exactly.
So I think we want to
So
move on. We
yeah,
actually so the NHL, we usually give out your stars of the game. So we're gonna give out our one star of the week. And for this past week, I know Baden's gonna be very happy about this one.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna go to New York Islanders goalie Ilya Sorokin. He finished the week as 3-0 as a starter, which is crazy. He let up 1.32 goals on average, right? He had a 9.63 save percentage, which for 3 games, that's great. And within that, he registered a 49 save shutout against the Edmonton Oilers, who have greatest player of the century in Connor McDavid, and then Leon Draisaitl, who's a point scoring machine. So the fact that he put up a 49 save shutout against a team that's so offensive focused like the Oilers, I just think it's so deserving.
And watching that game, the Islanders defense made him work. There were some saves where it wasn't 49 easy saves. He was working out there. He was diving across the crease. Like he made some saves where it was all on him. That shutout was not really great defensive play. It was really all on him. I mean, if you're taking 50 shots in a game, you got to be on your A game to have a shutout. So
Exactly.
I'm happy to have him. He's doing his job. So happy Islanders fan over here.
yeah, and like Sebastian just said, like defending against a high offensive team with Connor McDavid on the Oilers, and Connor McDavid's the best athlete I think in all of sports. I'd say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And his counterpart's not too shabby. I mean, he doesn't get as much recognition, but Draisaitl is top of the NHL as well. So
yeah, it is really impressive, and I think I mentioned it. I don't think I've mentioned it, but I just think about it all the time. Like the goaltender is the most important position.
It is.
oh yeah.
Unfortunately. So to give it a performance like that, it's great to see it, and especially against a high offensive team like you just said, Sebastian.
Yeah. So, other than that, we're going to have a lot more stars throughout the season, but maybe this will be telling of a Vezina campaign for Sorokin.
Hopefully
Oh.
every player of the week's an Islanders player though.
Oh, yeah. You would like
Oh, yeah,
that?
for sure.
So now I think we're going to move on to our weekly pick'em. We're going to do pick'em for tonight's games. It is currently November 29th. So those games are on the slate. And we're going to start off with our first one between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Pittsburgh Penguins, a powerhouse matchup. But I think it comes down to more of an individual one where you have Malkin versus Slavin, two of the best in the game. Malkin actually has some interesting stats. He averages about a point per game against Carolina. He scored 41 in 42 games played, which is pretty cool. And then another interesting race between the two of them is Jacob Slavin leads the NHL in takeaways with 36, but Malkin's in second. So this game is really, it's going to be a battle of team as a whole, but like individual powerhouses.
Yeah, and standing wise, they're 3 and 4 in the Metropolitan, so it's pretty big implications for the standings. But they're two very comparable teams. They're going to match up really well, and it should be a very close game.
So I guess we'll start off with Kyle. Who you picking tonight?
I'm gonna go with the Penguins. I have some faith in Sidney Crosby. He's leading the Penguins in their points against Carolina, and I don't know. It's just something about those Penguins. I feel like they're coming off a loss, and they're just gonna come into face off against Carolina with hungry for a win.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree. Pittsburgh is hungry for a win, and I got to go with the Penguins tonight. What about you, Baden?
As much as I want to disagree and be right, Pittsburgh fans go crazy for hockey. They're going to be at home. I think the Penguins, as do the Hurricanes, really want this game. But yeah, I think the Penguins are gonna itch it out. I'd say maybe like a 4-3, 3-2 game. I don't think there's going to be a very big goal differential here.
I'd agree with that. So now we're gonna move on to we have a matchup between the San Jose Sharks and the Montreal Canadiens. A highlight of this game is Erik Karlsson, the old man who was getting booed by Sharks fans in the beginning of the year. He clearly wants out, and he probably will get his wish soon. It's just going to be a matter of where. He's just up in that value. He's got 32 points in the season. That's number 6 overall in the league, and that's number 1 for all defensemen. So with that being said, I got to go with Karlsson and go with the Sharks tonight.
Really? I can't get behind. I don't know about that. The Sharks, year after year, they're going to be at the bottom of the pit, and not that the Canadians are that much better. I just off a quick look, I'm just gonna I'd put everything on Montreal. I mean, yeah, sure, Carlson wants out, but it's the Sharks. It's the Sharks. I'm with Montreal on this one.
Okay.
I'm feeling a little road win. Go across the country, over the border, long travel. I think the Sharks are gonna win. I'm not impressed with the Canadians. I mean, I know the Sharks are not playing too great themselves, but I have not been too impressed with the Canadians. So I do think the Sharks are gonna squeak this one out.
All right. So, I mean, there's our picks on that one. We're going to shift it over to Tampa Bay versus Boston. Two great teams have been powerhouses for the last. I don't even want to get into that.
Feels like a
But
lifetime.
exactly. But tonight, the biggest storyline is that Ullmark, who was probably the best goalie this season and might still be, he's healthy. But the problem with that is Montgomery has declined to name a starter and is waiting for basically game time to announce if he's going to start Ullmark or Swayman. So,
In breaking news, I think they just confirmed Swayman.
okay. So that changes
they confirmed
things.
Swayman as we're speaking. It'll
So,
be
I mean,
Vasilevsky versus Swayman.
I guess with that, I might change my pick and I might have to go with Tampa Bay, and I might even get a little bit out there and go with. I'm thinking Vasilevsky only lets one in. I'm going that he goes like maybe 31 for 32 on saves tonight. That's my extra prediction.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I was already thinking about Tampa Bay. I mean, yeah, Boston, they're 12-0 at home. You know what? I have a sudden change of thought. I'm gonna go with Boston. 12-0 at home. That's not easy to do, and they can
No.
do that for a reason. It's just a feeling at the end of the day. Like, it's all about vibes. It's all about feels. Like, on paper, I'd say on paper, Tampa Bay should win this game. But at the end of the day, you're going to go to Boston where they're 12-0 at home. You can't, like, no team is, you can't, they haven't lost that. It's just on paper, Tampa Bay should win. But I'm going to say at the end of the day, it's going to be Boston on top.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tampa Bay maybe seeing Ullmark out, it will be kind of a mental game that they'll see that they'll think maybe they have more of a chance. And I think if anyone could snap this home win streak, the Lightning have like the veterans and the experience, but it is so tough to bet against the Bruins this season. Like it just feels wrong. But I think I'm gonna go with the Bruins. I think they're gonna keep it going. I don't know how much longer this streak will last, but I will go with the Bruins for tonight.
All right, we're gonna speed things up a little bit over here. We'll get into Baden's Islanders versus the Flyers. Yeah, like we mentioned before, Sorokin's on a Vizina tour, so I'm pretty clearly just gonna go, even though it paints me, with the Islanders tonight.
Yeah,
Baden?
I think Islanders across the board here. I mean, the Flyers, they've lost their last two. Their last 10 actually, they're 0-7-3,
Ugh.
which is not good. You can't pull out a win. And are they playing is it in New York tonight?
It might be in Philadelphia tonight.
This is in Philly. They just played in New York.
Would that swing a decision for them to win? I don't think so. The Islanders have been playing out of their mind. I just think it's going to be Islanders. Philadelphia need to fix some things before they can think about winning against the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know who I'm picking. I'm gonna go with the Islanders. They just beat them 5-2 the other night, and it was in New York. But I mean, I can't bet against the Islanders. The Flyers don't look too good, so yeah, pretty confidently Islanders win.
So pretty clear sweep across the board. We're going to move on to the Avalanche and the Jets. Both very interesting teams this year. The Avs actually won 4 of their last 5 games, while the Jets just came off in a very impressive 7-2 win over Chicago on the road. The last time these two teams played, the Jets ended up winning 4-3 in overtime. With that being said, I don't think that happens again, so I'm going to go with the reigning champion Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, you just said Winnipeg, they beat Chicago 7-2.
Yeah.
I don't see that. Honestly, I don't really find that impressive, only because of how Chicago has been playing. If anything, I would expect that from Winnipeg. I am gonna go. I will go with the Avs on this one, the defending champs. But Winnipeg, it will be a good game, but just that's not impressive to see them beat Chicago 7-2. I'm like, okay, great, congratulations, you beat a team that has only 6 wins on the year, 7-2. Now, how about you play a good team? So I think the Avs are going to take it, and no, I have no question about it.
Agreed.
I'll challenge you guys. I'll rival you guys. I'll go with the Jets. I mean, you beat a team once, and it's not easy to beat a team again. But I just think maybe the Jets will have the Avalanche's number this year. I mean, both very good teams, very impressive. But I'm gonna go with the Jets.
I will say I do think Luc Dubois will squeeze one in tonight, but that's besides the point. We'll move on to the Ducks Predators. Probably the most entertaining game. No, I'm kidding. Just very disappointing matchup. Both of the teams aren't that great. We mentioned the Ducks earlier have same amount of losses as the Devils have wins, or even the Devils have an extra win. This is going to be more of a goalie matchup. Saros is starting for the Predators. He's been pretty bipolar this season, but more good than bad. John Gibson is questionable, but he did make the trip with the team, so that's very good to see. That being said, I don't know if Zegras and Terry will be able to produce that fast, so I'm gonna go with the Ducks.
Okay, I'd see that. I like the Ducks too. I think Gibson's a great goalie. I mean, I would love to have him on the Kings, honestly. A little bit more consistency, but I would go with the Ducks in this one. Nashville, they've been a little bit mediocre, and the Ducks have that young firepower, and I bet on that. So even though I said it doesn't mean a lot earlier, but I'd say Gibson's gonna carry this home for the Ducks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ducks as well. They don't look great, but neither do the Predators. I think. Hopefully, Trevor Zegras can squeeze in a goal because I love rooting for that guy, for that kid. Love him, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ducks as well.
We mentioned the Matt Tkachuk return to Calgary. There is no Barkov again as he deals with sickness. So with that being said, I'm going to pick Carolina. I'm at Florida Panthers, not football. I do think that they pull out a win over Calgary tonight.
Yeah, I'll ride with you, Sebastian. I think Florida will take that over Calgary. I mean, yeah, Calgary has some fire in them, no pun intended, but yeah, it's just Florida's been. I feel like Florida's been consistent, especially the years past. So I'm gonna say Florida.
Yeah, I think Florida's the better team. I would love to see kind of a spoiled return. I mean, but I do think Tkachuk and Calgary or Tkachuk and Florida are gonna beat Calgary. He's gonna maybe even put in a goal. That'd be pretty fun. I think it's gonna be an entertaining return, and hopefully he gets some praise over there.
Yeah, that'd be nice for him to score in his return. I think the fans, even though it'd be against them, I think they'd like to see that. We'll continue with our last two. One of them we have the Capitals versus the Canucks, another matchup of teams that have been really not exactly what everybody thought from the preseason. One interesting storyline is that Bo Horvat has had a breakout season, and he's only 2 goals out from tying Jason Robertson with the league lead. Maybe he puts in a hat trick tonight. But I do not think so. Washington is Washington. So I'm going to go with the Capitals because they don't know how to be bad.
Yeah, I think the Capitals they're gonna ride on top on this one, and they're playing. Let me look. I've just lost my spot. Look, playing against the Canucks. I mean, Canucks they're hot. I think they've got 3 in a row, but I think the Capitals they're like you said they're not. They don't know how to be bad. So let's go with the Capitals.
Yeah, I think they have a little bit too much firepower, but I mean, yeah, props to the Canucks on what they've been doing, but again, pretty confident. I think the Capitals will take this one.
It's another Queen sweep with the boys, and we're gonna close it out with the Kraken versus the Kings. We talked about this game earlier and how the Kings need to get things together. Seattle has been very surprising behind Matty Beniers' 18 points. My opinion, he's looking like the early lead for Rookie of the Year. Playing a little bit of extra time at Michigan really helped him out. So until Fiala and Kopitar and the whole gang can get it together, I think that the Kraken pull out another impressive victory tonight and establish themselves as seems like a playoff team this early in the season.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I said it earlier. It's an important game. You know, it's for the second spot in the Pacific West, but Gabe Velarde's back, and you're gonna pair him up with Kaliev and Fiala and Kopitar, like all those guys. I think that the offensive unit is gonna be firing tonight. However, that little pest, Jonathan Quick, you never know with this guy whether if he's gonna go 50 for 50 or 40 for 50. You know what I mean? Like, and then again, I don't think it's been confirmed yet. And if they start Cal Peterson, you still don't know. So it's rough. I'm gonna go with the Kings only because of Velarde coming back into the lineup. However, if the Kraken's leading coming out of the second, it's all for the Kraken. So, but Kings is my answer.
Yeah. Sebastian, touching on what you said about rookie of the year, I would love for Beniers to win a rookie of the year. I think he deserves it. He's been playing as well as any rookie. This is a tough one. I mean, both teams very similar in the standings. I think both are good teams and both surprising, but I'm gonna go with the Kraken.
Okay.
I think they're a very fun team to watch, and I think they are very good. So I'm gonna go with the Kraken.
They've gone
Before we wrap it up really fast, I just want to say I did misspoke before. I meant to say I went with the Predators over the Ducks, not the Ducks over the Predators. That's on me.
I literally said I agreed with you, and you're like, oh yeah, of course. And I literally talked about how I wanted the Ducks to play. Anyways, that's gonna do it for our show. Thank you for listening. That was Thin Ice on BlazeRadioOnline.com. Thank you for listening, and we hope everyone will tune in next time. My name was Kyle Krikorian, and I was joined by
Sebastian Quinn
and Baden Delaney.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Peace
for
out.
listening.